All right, all right, all right.
All right, just click go live. We are live. Alrighty. Welcome to today's Saturday episode of the Cap Rack. It is February 20th. We have a bunch of college basketball picks today. I ran 32 games through the model, pretty much getting us. I don't know how many picks this is. Let's see. We
32
got.
picks. 64
I mean, we
picks,
got 32
actually.
predictions, not necessarily 32 picks. Um, I feel like it's close to 10 picks, 12 picks, something like that.
Mhm.
But we're going to run through our predictions. I'm going to give you first what the model has been doing. Anybody new to the stream, new to the page? We are, let me check, 322 and 274 against the spread for 54% right there. And on the total, we're up $65. So we're 315 and 286 for 52.41%. So positive there. Totals aren't freaking great, but it's okay. Up $1,900 against the spread, and like I said, 65 against the total. Up for $2,000 total on the year. We just hit our 600th game entered into the model. Pretty wild. I feel like we'll get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I hope so. The tournament should really help that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Do you think we
if
have
you
400
especially if you're
games
doing
yet?
it, if you do it like every day or like 5 days a week at least, you'll get plenty of data.
I hope so. People on TikTok, can you write in the chat if you can hear Sam okay? If not, I'll raise my computer volume. Or you can join us on YouTube. Either way, one way. Okay, so Sam in the chat on YouTube, CJ Wilson says, I love you, Sam.
Sup, CJ?
CJ Wilson, former MLB pitcher.
Yes, exactly. And
That's
my
the
and
guy.
my former roommate.
Um, okay. Let's see here and kick it off. It is only 11 o'clock still. Wow.
So CJ, I mean, old him actually.
Only 2 minutes into this. Haven't even given a pick yet.
Yeah,
What are
we
we
got
feeling?
plenty of time. We haven't gotten a pick yet.
Well, I haven't placed my bets, so I'm gonna do it kind of as we go while we're on the live stream. Lag D100 says okay. All right, cool. So you guys can hear Sam right. That's awesome.
Cool, cool.
Um, let's get started with some picks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We'll dive right into it with. I think we should start with this Mississippi pick up here, and we can go all the way down. We're gonna skip Nebraska in this line because obviously Nebraska not a good pick.
Would you ever
Um,
bet on Nebraska?
yeah, not good. Okay, Mississippi State at Mississippi. We have Mississippi as 6.5 point favorites, 127 on the total. Models looking at a 71-63 Mississippi win, so about 8.5 points of difference there. We're getting nearly 2 points of edge, but it's staying under the threshold at 1.97. Mississippi is a very good team. I feel like they're very underrated out of the SEC, and this is just a big spread to cover, 6.5. I think it's possible. Mississippi State also not a great team on the road. Mississippi's home. Sam, you got any insight on this?
Yeah, that Mississippi's starting to get their groove a little bit. Won four in a row, including wins over Tennessee, Auburn, and Mizzou, and at South Carolina. The Mizzou game they won by 21. That game at home, like they're beginning to find their groove. Like you think of Ole Miss, like I'm thinking more of their football team, or like a high powered offense with like no defense. But this is not quite the case. They can actually play some defense, lock it down. So yeah, this Mississippi State team is also struggling as well. So yeah, let's roll with Ole Miss.
Yeah, I personally like this pick a good bit. 7 points is a decent
Mhm.
bit to ask them to cover, but I think they get it done for sure. Okay, next we're going to move over to the Pac-12. We have Colorado visiting Oregon State. 6.5 is the spread. Colorado favored 136 on the total. Model is looking at a 69-61 Colorado win, so we're getting 1.62 points of edge there on Colorado. I don't know what to make of this because Oregon State, I said it probably about a month ago, that they're like one of those sneaky home cover teams that are going to be
Mhm.
able to slip in the back door more often than not. But Colorado also was a team that was pretty solid early in the year. We saw them play Oregon a couple nights ago and ended up losing. I live bet Oregon on the money line, so that was a fun little
Very nice.
profit just for watching a half of a basketball game. But yeah, here we have Colorado 6.5 points, saying they're going to cover. They're definitely more explosive than Oregon State, right?
Oh, 100%. Like Oregon State really is not very good at basketball. To put it simply. I mean, they're not a bad team. I shouldn't say that, but Colorado is more explosive offensively and better defensively as well. You look at every metric, you're going to tell you that. Just a week and a half ago, these two teams played at Colorado, and Colorado won that game by 30. And they've lost two in a row at Cal, at Oregon. Still on the road here, but I see them coming out with a little fire, and they want to beat up a definitely a inferior Oregon State team.
Yeah. I mean, the only question here is on the road, Colorado covering a 7 number, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean that's really the only reservation you could possibly have. They're definitely the more talented squad. Okay, so Colorado is the pick at -6.5. We're skipping over the Purdue-Nebraska game because not a good pick. We might circle back to it later and just kind of touch on it. But as far as a model play, not it for today. Next, we're moving on to Georgia versus Florida. Florida 8-point favorites, 155 on the total, so a little bit high. We're looking at a 86-76 Florida win, 9.3 points of edge, 9.3 points of margin there rather, 1.38 points of edge. Sam, I texted you last night about this.
I don't like Florida.
I don't either. I don't know
I
why
like Georgia in
are
this game
8-point
actually.
underdogs.
Yeah, they're not a bad team by any means. Like, can they defend? Absolutely not. But my goodness, they can score. So 8 points is a lot for a team that can look at that. Was it Bama a week or two ago with Georgia where they were down like 20, 30 points in the second half and then exploded to cover the backdoor cover like a 14-point spread or something like that.
Yep.
So I could see a similar thing because Florida is not what Bama is in any aspect. I mean, they're an okay team. There's gonna be a lot of points in this game too, so that could lead to a little backdoor cover action from Georgia. So I'm sorry, but I have to go against the model here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I just feel like if Georgia is on, if they're scoring early, we're going to be able to see the cover kind of matriculate early. But if not, obviously hope for the backdoor. 8 points helps when you're rooting for a backdoor. Georgia 11-9 against the spread, 8-8 for Florida. So we have the edge there. I don't know. I feel like the last couple of times we went against the model, we've done well.
Yeah, because
it was a really good pick 2 days ago. I feel like that was Thursday.
That was Thursday night against Penn State.
Yep.
-4. Looking a little scary there for a bit, but this game screams live bet. Like if Georgia gets out big, then Florida money line it is. And vice versa even, or at least maybe like a plus 15, 16 point live bet for Georgia. So should be a fun game actually. One of the more exciting games of the day, I think.
No, I mean the thing with college basketball is the odds. I mean, there's so many teams, and it's just so hard for the odds makers to actually get accurate, predictions, accurate assumptions about what's about to happen. So you take that a step further into live betting. The live odds, more often than not, are so overcorrected to the point where, assume the game's a pick'em. Then the one team who could be the better team goes down by 5 points in the first 5 minutes of the game. You'll be able to get them at plus 160, plus 170 when we see 5-0 runs in 40 seconds like that. And
all the time.
There's so much value to be made, or so much value to be found and money to be made in live betting college basketball.
Especially with the pace that both these two teams play at. I'm excited for that one.
What is we're getting an over by about 7 points here. We're projecting 162. Total says 155. So I could see it over, but Georgia.
It's a big number.
Georgia.
I don't like betting totals. Exactly. So I don't like totals in college basketball anyway.
No, the model's not doing great there either. So I'm not gonna lie to the people and be like, hey, we're doing good on the total, because we're not. We're not doing bad, not losing money. We're actually making money. You could buy a video game with the profits. If you bet 600 college basketball games at $100, you'd be up 65 at this point.
Oh hell yeah!
Against the spreads where we make the dough, so it's okay. Let's move on to Vandy at Alabama. Alabama are 14.5-point favorites, 153.5 on the total. I think it's important to note here that Alabama opened, I think, upwards of 16. I think it was -16. I did the model last night. I adjusted it this morning. I had to change the number from 16 to 14.5. So the play last night was Vanderbilt. We're predicting a 15.74 point difference, a 87-71 win for Alabama. So if the spread was at 16, we'd say that that's kind of that threshold to bet Vandy. But now that we're at 14.5, the value is starting to show itself on Alabama a little bit. We got 1.24 points of edge, so high explosive Alabama offense at home against Vandy. It's still a really high number. I'm not gonna pretend like it's not. What do you think?
It's a high number, but Bama has been beating the shit out of people at home.
Yeah.
Like, look at their most recent home game, which was a week ago. They played Georgia. They won by 33. So I was wrong on Georgia Bama. It was someone else. Maybe it was Tennessee. But and then before that, they beat LSU, a very good team, by 18 points at home. Like they
Yeah.
struggle a bit on the road, but at home, this team is dominant because they got probably one of the bigger crowds in college basketball there in Tuscaloosa.
Oh yeah.
So the team can explode for 100 points, and they don't play bad defense either. So unless Scottie Pippen Jr. is on his bullshit today, I don't see Vanderbilt really competing.
I agree. You think Georgia and Florida have a high pace? Go watch Alabama play basketball.
Yeah, yeah. Bama Georgia was 115-82 was the final score.
It's unbelievable. I think Bama's the only team that's hit 100 twice this year. I feel like I pulled that useful stat out a couple times.
I like this Bama team a lot. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they definitely are. Let's move on to DePaul. I don't know why I said it like that. At St. John's minus
DePaul.
11, 147 on the total. 82 to 70 predicted win for St. John's. So we're getting 1.15 points of edge here on the 11-point spread. St. John's is going to be the pick. I really like this St. John's team. I feel like they're one of the most balanced teams in college basketball. They have the guard play they need to win and score from the outside. They also have the inside presence to score on the low block and rebound. DePaul, we use this reasoning a lot. Not a good basketball
They
team.
stink.
Yeah, they're not good. I think they can cover this number pretty easily. Again, you always have to be wary of a double-digit spread, but I don't know. St. John's is good enough. It's a shame
Yes.
that they're kind of a borderline team in the tourney because I think that they could make a run for sure.
They're a real interesting turning team because they can score. They're electric, and DePaul I just don't think has enough firepower to keep up.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's 11 points. I'm gonna pull up the against the spread numbers for both of these teams.
I got them right here. DePaul is 6-7 against the spread this season, and St. John's is 13-9.
Okay. I mean, DePaul's not a good basketball team. Usually you can have bad basketball teams that are good against the spread, and it shows you that they're, like, sneakily talented, but I don't think this is the case with DePaul.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so let's move on. We have Cal visiting Washington out in the Pac-12. Washington -1, 140 on the total. We have a 71-69 Washington win. 0.98 points of edge there on Washington. This is interesting, and I was actually really happy to see this when I put the numbers in and I checked out the spreads for today's games. Washington has been notoriously a double-digit dog against the better Pac-12 teams. They're on the lower half for sure themselves, but they're not as bad as their record makes it out to be. I feel like they're in many of the games until they blow it late. However, I've seen California on the other side, a team in the Pac-12 that is not very good, just get blown out by these teams. So Washington's got the talent. I feel like the talent is going to show at home here against California. This is probably one of my favorite picks of today. And it comes on a Washington team that I don't know the record off the top of my head, but it's got to be like 5-15, 5-13.
4-17.
There you go. Something bad like that. What do you think about this?
I definitely do like this pick. They have shown some signs of some decent play, especially at home. They gave UCLA a hell of a game a week ago, and Cal by themselves are not exactly a powerhouse in the Pac-12. They're sitting at 8-16. Both these teams in conference, they are 3-15 for Cal, 3-14 for Washington. So you kind of get the idea of what we're dealing with here.
Didn't Cal get a nice win a couple of days ago?
Cal got a nice win against Colorado last Saturday. They won by 9 at home. But I like this Washington team at home. I think they're going to want to defend their court. Obviously neither team is going to come close to sniffing even the NIT, let alone the NCAA tournament. So it's more for pride. Want to defend your home court. So let's go with Washington.
Definitely. I think
this game's going to get weird. We're going to get some
weird,
late night Pac-12 action.
Sorry, say it again. You cut out.
We're going to get some late night Pac-12. Some weirdness.
Yeah, 10 p.m. on a Saturday. No, I'm gonna be
Well,
watching UFC. Sorry, I'm just gonna place this bet and
oh
let it
yeah,
ride. I think it's worth mentioning that this game can go under. I look at
I
the
was just thinking that neither team can really score.
It's 140. Like, I don't know if both teams get to 70, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout to the point where we see like an 80 to 60 something game.
Hmm.
I don't know if either of these teams are capable of putting up 80 or even 75 for that matter on their opponent. It's going to be sloppy. I think
Hmm.
I mean, Washington lost 79 to 61 at Stanford, but Stanford's a pretty solid team. They beat Washington State 65-63, so that would stay under. Um, UCLA 61 to 64, that stayed under. And all of these totals were 142 and a half, 140 and a half, 142, 147. And I mean, even against USC, who puts the ball in the hoop at a pretty big clip, they still didn't let up 70 points. This is a high total. I would say go under.
Yeah, I definitely need under because both teams average 66 points a game, which is obviously going to go under if they go to that. But neither team can really defend very well either. So, but I don't know if that like high points allowed is more of a like because they're getting shit kicked by the likes of USC and some of these more elites of the Pac-12. So if there's a play in the total here, it's the under. I'm gonna probably steer clear. I'm not. I just don't like betting totals in college basketball unless I'm really, really in love with it, which I am with an over that we'll talk about later. Um, so yeah, well, it's yeah, I think we touched on enough this game
Yeah, that's a lot of information, a lot of analysis on a really shitty basketball game.
for for Cal at
There are teams
Washington.
in the NCAA this year. There are plenty of teams that have more wins than both of these teams combined.
Oh yeah,
Gonzaga is one of them. Got this hat for $5 yesterday. One of
Virginia
the
Tech is one of them. They have 12 combined wins.
There's a lot of teams with 12 plus wins.
Oregon has 13 wins.
Oregon's good. Sleeper
I
team.
do like Oregon a lot.
We have a TikTok question from jcon_30. Any plays on West Virginia versus Texas? I want to check where this is in here. It's not one of our official plays, but we are going to touch on it a little bit later.
Oh, I have
in the
opinions
show.
on this game.
I have a play that I really like. It's not a model play, but we'll get back to that 100%. We're going to keep rolling here, though, with our picks for today. This one scares me, but we're going to touch on it. It's going to be BYU -7 at Loyola Marymount. The play is going to be on Loyola Marymount +7. 137 on the total. The model likes a 76 to 69 BYU win, so 6.5 points there. We're getting 0.56 points of edge here on Loyola. I don't really know what to make of this because we saw BYU as like +6.5 point favorites to Pacific, also on the road 2 days ago, I believe. I think that was Thursday. And BYU ended up absolutely blowing them out. BYU has Purdue grad transfer Matt Harms on the low block, and he's often in that conference the best player on the court. I feel like not many teams have a big man that has played against the talent that Matt Harms has played with in the past, and it's just kind of like he's playing pickup basketball. He's not putting up massive numbers, but I don't know. BYU's a scary team. They have the talent to make a run. I think they're going to win the conference most likely. We'll see.
Are
But
you sure about that?
why? Who do you think is going to win that conference?
I was thinking Gonzaga, but because
They're not in the same conference, are they?
I'm in the West Coast Conference page on ESPN right now.
I'm going
and where
crazy.
you can see
When it gets
Gonzaga
out
right
west,
there. You're wearing a Gonzaga hat and you're picking BYU.
I just said 5 minutes ago I bought this for $5. I think it was a cool hat. I bought a Kansas one too. I'll
It's a
pull
great
that out one
hat.
of these days.
No, you've convinced me. BYU over Gonzaga in the WCC championship
It's
game.
not going to happen.
You heard it here first.
Gonzaga's if Gonzaga loses in their conference tournament, I think they're still a 1 seed, and they should do some charity work and let BYU win. Just saying. No,
Yeah,
don't do
Gonzaga. Gonzaga's not going to lose until the Sweet 16.
They're not going to lose at all. They're the best team in college basketball. They have
They're going to lose
best-
to a 4 or 5 seed.
No, not
I
gonna happen.
guarantee it. I guarantee it.
I'm putting it on the record right now. This is all recorded. It's live streamed.
I will go on the record saying that. All right, so I'll kind of won't make it as bold, but Gonzaga will not make the Final Four.
That's a crazy take.
That is my hot take of the day. So take that as
I
you
think
will.
their roster right now could compete with a bad NBA roster. I don't think
All
they
right,
could beat
let's
them.
relax. Let's
I don't
relax.
think they
Let's
can beat them.
relax.
No, I don't think they can beat them, but I think that they can compete with a bad
Could they
NBA roster.
cover a 45-point spread? Maybe.
It'd be closer than you think. I feel like it would be like a 25, 30-point game.
Yeah,
It's a very talented
maybe.
team. There's probably 3 starters on that team, maybe 4, that are going to get a spot in the NBA and at least get drafted.
There's at least one lottery pick in Jalen
For sure.
Suggs.
For sure. And then you look at Kispert,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Nemhard, transfer from Florida, Drew Timme. Like, this is such a solid team out of Gonzaga.
They're really
Dude,
good.
I don't know. Okay, let's keep it moving with the picks, though. Loyola Marymount was that pick at +7. Sam and I both have our hesitations about this one.
Oh, speak for yourself. Give me
I
Loyola
thought you were.
Marymount
Oh, you
money
were saying
line.
BYU over Gonzaga before.
Hey, I'm
That's
all
even
over the
more
place.
blasphemous than this.
No, but 7 points. They're at home and they're kind of playing their best basketball of the season right now. They've won 4 in a row against, some of the better teams in conference, like at San Francisco, against Pacific, like some teams that obviously they're not, national powerhouses, but in the West Coast Conference, they are, some of the better competition, and
Yeah.
they're not only winning, they're kind of handling them pretty well too. So, I like them to hang around with them. With BYU, they play solid defense, so we'll see if got to just kind of hope that also BYU's kind of not lighting it up from 3 or anything like that. So, hey, we'll see.
I don't know. It's tough to keep up with the West Coast games. I mean, it makes it a lot easier when you're just looking at numbers. Like, team names don't make a difference when you're using a model for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just putting numbers against numbers, and I don't know. Loyola Marymount and BYU aren't on my radar very often.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I've watched too much of these two teams,
We're
but
late for people on the East Coast too.
yeah, no, I don't. I gotta go to bed.
I gotta save my sleep schedule for the Padres Dodgers games this year.
Oh, I'm excited for those.
Okay, let's move on. Virginia -2 at Duke.
I'm not doing this
131.5.
pick. I'm not following the model on this pick. I refuse.
I am, so we can duke it out a little bit. We're gonna.
Ha!
Oh wow! I didn't even. That
Good
was so
one.
unintentional. That was a good one. That was a real good one. Oh man, 68-66. West Virginia, or just regular Virginia. Virginia win. 1.62 points of difference there, so it's staying within the number. We're gonna take a pick on the underdog. Duke at 0.38 points of edge. Sam, do you want to take the lead on this and then I'll shut you down, or do you want me to take the lead and you can try to shut me down?
You go first. You go first.
Okay. Duke has been a lot better as of late. Jalen Johnson out, opting out, quitting on his team.
Couldn't say that. That's like putting whipped cream on dog shit. They're still dog shit.
I refuse to say that Jalen Johnson opted out of the season because he quit. It's pure. You can't change the wording. Opting out would be, hey, I'm going to do it in the beginning of the season. Now you're quitting on your team that is
Because they
actually
suck.
probably better without you, per Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim. He said apparently that he was hogging the ball and not passing to people that are capable players that are now going to get more playing time. So I trust Jim Boeheim's mind. I've seen with my own eyes that Duke has been playing better basketball. When Matt Hurt gets going, it's hard to stop him. Virginia got handled by Florida State. They're on the road here. They're favorites. I feel like this is a very big trap game. The model likes it. I like Duke. Sam doesn't like Duke. Sam likes Virginia, and we're going to hear why because I'm very curious.
I will. It's more like I hate Duke more than I like Virginia. Those fucking assholes. But Duke, yeah, they've won 2 in a row against Wake Forest and NC State. I think UVA is just a little better than those two teams. And yeah, Virginia just got shit pumped by Florida State a couple days ago. But again, Florida State is a much better team than Duke. And that was at Florida State, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Florida State at home is a different monster than they are on the road where they kind of stink. Duke, yes, I know they've looked better. I think it's going to be actually a pretty entertaining game. I don't think UVA is going to blow them out. But I think just they're better. I think they're better coached right now, UVA. Coach K's washed. Get him out of here. Same with Boeheim. He's just a grumpy old guy up there in Syracuse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the UVA team. They're going to be better defensively. They got some weapons on offense. Um, so yeah, it's simple as that. They're just the far better team, and 2 points is not too much. This spread is not based off this Duke team. If this same roster on say NC State, this is an 8 point spread.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're betting on the Duke name, not this Duke
I
team.
never bet on the names. I just went through a whole spiel about how I bet the numbers, and we got the numbers telling me to pick Duke. Um, that's
Yeah,
it.
but sometimes I go against the numbers, and this is one. It's one of those
That's
times.
fair. I mean, there's only about 20-ish people that can decide this one, and those are the players and coaches on Virginia and Duke. We'll find that out sometime today. We have a TikTok question from Barney Moreno 1. Kansas versus Texas Tech. Who do you guys got? Tough game. Let me check this out.
I think it's one of our next. I think it's like the next one on the list, or
Well,
it's one of them.
we have Oklahoma, Iowa State next, but since you're here, Barney,
Let's
we are
let's
going
let's, let's go
to
to.
let's jump to Texas Tech, Kansas, so we can give you what you want here. Kansas 1.5 point favorites. I think it was 2.5 at one point. I don't know if it got to 2.5, but it was definitely 2.
I think probably some books got to 2.5, but I got 1.5 right here.
Model likes a 69.2 to 68.9 win for Kansas. So we're getting a Texas Tech pick here at 0.27 points of edge. I personally like it. It's going to be a super, super good game. I just feel like Texas Tech has more to lose here. We can get the Mac attack. Kansas is home. They're probably going to feel comfortable. I could see where they just get overrun by Texas Tech's pace and their defense. If Kansas starts to get frustrated early, not being able to score, I feel like Texas Tech is just going to take control of this game, and they're going to have to fend off a late Kansas
Oh yeah,
push like they always do. But yeah, I like Texas Tech here on the road. I think they're just the more fiery team. I don't even know if I would be comfortable saying that they are more talented. I don't know.
I think talent-wise they're pretty even.
Kansas is just experience. So when you talk about talent, like, are you talking about raw athleticism? Are you talking about that plus basketball IQ? Because if that's the case, Kansas probably has the edge. But I just think Texas Tech wants it more, and the talent is enough to compete with Kansas. What do you think?
I'm actually kind of leaning Kansas here. Um, just because it is such a small spread. Like a couple, free throws at the end. It's it turns a Texas Tech cover into a Kansas cover.
Yeah.
And Kansas is starting to find their groove a little bit. I know they've played like the last 4 games they've won. Yeah, it's been twice against Iowa State and once against Kansas State and Oklahoma State, but they've beat the hell out of them in all 4 of those matchups. But Kansas this year has not really played super well against the elites of the Big 12. But they got I'm looking right here. They got a loss at West Virginia.
They do.
They have a big loss, a huge loss at home against Texas. That was on the 2nd of January. So that was a long time ago, different teams. But you've seen against ranked teams, they lost to Tennessee, lost to Baylor. They lost to Texas. Like they've not played ranked teams well. Their only ranked win this year. Actually, I do have a few ranked wins from December. Actually, now that I'm getting back there.
I mean, regardless, 5-6-1 against the spread versus teams that win greater than 65% of their games. That's Kansas. However, you look on the other side of the coin. Texas Tech is 2-9 versus teams that win greater than 65% of their games. Those are both against the spread numbers. It's virtually a pick 'em. Neither of those stats are convincing. Obviously, Texas Tech is worse, which is making me question this a little bit, but not really, because what does that stat truly mean? It's like, but I don't know. It's going to be a really good game. I wouldn't get angry at anybody for picking either side of this.
Yeah, I would definitely I'm kind of more hesitant on Kansas because they're not as dominant at home like they were, say, 4 or 5 years ago. They had I don't know how many wins at home in a row against everybody. But they've lost a couple games at home this season. The model says Texas Tech. I might have to ride with it in this one.
Why not? Why not? Okay. So that answers your question, Barney. I hope. If you have any further inquiries.
Such an indecisive answer for both of us too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the analysis. It's a tough game, like you kind of said before. Like There's really no way to
This
tackle
game
them.
does scream like a live bet, especially if Texas Tech gets up early, like you said. No, you're going to get that Kansas run in the second half at home.
What I will say, if at any point you see either Kansas or Texas Tech having plus, I would say, over 5 points on the live line, just take it. This is going to go down to the wire.
Take it.
Like, it doesn't matter if you have Texas Tech plus 5 or Kansas plus 5. It's going to be a 5-point game, so you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm not dead wrong on that. All right, let's backtrack a little bit. Oklahoma minus 11 at Iowa State, 143 on the total. We're looking at a 79-67 Oklahoma win. The line adjusted for this a little bit. I think it was 10.5. It's now 11, so some money coming in on Oklahoma. We're getting a 0.31 edge on this one. Oklahoma, a really talented team. Iowa State, a little sneaky. High spread here. Personally, this is going to be a stay.
Not sneaky Iowa
It's a
State.
stay
They're
away.
2-15.
Look at the spread numbers.
They're
Still
6-11
bad.
against the spread. Here are their last 5 games. They lost by 18 at Oklahoma State. They lost by 14 at home against Kansas. They lost by 33 at Kansas. They lost by 3 at TCU. And then actually they lost by 7 at Oklahoma. Actually, kind of screwed around logic there, but
Here. Oklahoma's 8-2-1 after less than 4 days off.
is that against the spread?
Yeah.
And they played most recently. They played.
Well, they wouldn't show the stat here on Sportsline if it wasn't.
They haven't played since. This is 4 or more days or 4 or less days.
This says less than 4 days off.
Yeah, they haven't played since last Saturday, where they had that double overtime win against West Virginia.
Sportsline's failing me again. Not good.
S-
Unless it means greater than 4. Oh, maybe it is. Forget it. I don't know. Whatever the case is.
Yeah, Oklahoma is. I mean, Iowa State. Yeah, they've had a few of those like sneaky covers, but I don't see this being one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tricky one. Oh, man. All right, so what are you thinking? You're thinking Iowa State here?
I'm thinking Oklahoma here.
Okay. All right. Mama likes it, so let's ride with it.
They're fully healthy now. You know, we got Reeves back and all those guys. So, and even like the absence of Reeves and I forget the other guy who was out for a few days, but you saw some of their role players step up in those games, and they've got a ton of confidence now, and I think that's going to pay out big time come March.
Yeah, they're really good and well coached. So
yeah, they're 12-2 against the spread too, which is a very good number. You know, they're covering these big spreads that you're seeing against like the likes of Iowa State and, you know, other bottom feeders of the Big 12.
for sure. Okay, let's move on. We did Texas Tech, Kansas. Now we have 3 more picks to go through. This one, I wouldn't say I hate, but definitely a stay away just looking at it because I got burned by this team. It's Arizona State at UCLA minus 7.5. UCLA favored 145.5 on the total. We're looking at a 75-68 UCLA win. Wait, timeout. This line adjusted.
Oh, did it flip?
We're getting a play on UCLA here.
Oh, big time
Sam,
rush
how
check
happy
there.
are you now?
That is big time.
That's pretty good. Yeah, 7.5. We're looking at a 7.72 UCLA win. So, yeah, we're gonna get a nice 0.22 points of edge there on UCLA. I understand if you're watching this and you're probably like, how the hell did you just flip-flop between Arizona State and UCLA? There's a threshold where it kind of teeters, and obviously that's at net 0 in terms of edge. And when it flips over that horizon, the play flips. It's not indicative on any actual physical change as far as injury or anything. It's just purely based off the numbers and model performance. So we have to ride with that and stay consistent. Otherwise, we get faulty data, and we don't want that. So, yeah, the spread is at 7.5 currently. I don't know if it's actually sitting at that. I think it is, but UCLA is the play. Sam, what do you think? I don't like Arizona State, so.
Yeah, no, I hate Arizona State. They're like a Georgia where they can really score, but they refuse to defend. But here's the thing: Georgia has covered some games this year. Do you have Arizona State's against the spread number in front of you right now? Because I do, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now.
I remember
they're 3
last
and 14.
Time. Say it again.
3 and 14 against the spread this season. It's not good.
Fade them.
Yeah, they're looking like an auto fade, and now that we're saying this, they're going to come out and like win this game. But um, yeah, no, like this team is yes, they got some talent offensively, but they're allowing close to 80 points a game.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like late game stuff. Like I wouldn't be shocked if we look at like a 3-4 point game at the half, and Arizona State could even be leading. But when this game starts to close, their defense I think tires out, and UCLA will just step on the throttle or step on the pedal
Mhm.
and go.
Yeah, I'd probably gonna steer clear of this game. Just because I want to see more of UCLA before I really like. I bet them
Yep,
a few times, been like about 50-50. So I really want to get a good look at these guys.
I totally agree.
So I mean, if I'm having a good day, it might be worth a play on Arizona or on UCLA, but we'll see.
Got to see how the day progresses. Next, two more picks. Florida State at Pittsburgh. Florida State -6, 146. Sorry, 146.5 on the total. Looking at a 74-68 Florida State win, just under 6 points of margin there. So it's going to show that Pittsburgh's about to cover. This is going to be a stay away from me. I know we discussed this before we got on the podcast. You have some inclinations to take the Pennsylvania team here, plus the points, and I would like to know
Yeah,
why you think that.
I like Pitt here, just due to the fact that Florida State forgets how to play basketball on the road. This is only their fourth true road game of the season for Florida State, and they are 1-2 in those games with losses to Clemson and Georgia Tech and a win against Louisville. Pitt themselves, the record. It's not great, but they are a solid basketball team. They're playing everyone pretty much. Like, they're playing everyone close. But they're solid at home. They got a win over VT at home. Just recently they gave UVA a solid game. They gave Georgia Tech a solid game on the road. And I think maybe a big game from Justin Champagne. I love how Mano loves how we pronounce that.
It's actually Champagne, correct?
Champagne.
I think it's Champagne.
No, I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't even know. I said Champagne the one
time.
He
gave us a lecture on it, and I kind of forgot about it.
I think the correct way is Champagne. I don't want anybody getting upset with us for mispronouncing names.
So yeah, that guy. He's might be one of the better players on the court tonight for Pitt,
Definitely.
or for on the whole court in general. So definitely for Pitt. Pitt, one of those teams that on the outside looking in right now in the tournament, but with a couple wins here in the late season, they could put themselves in that last four in. So I think they're the more desperate team, and two with Florida State just being not good on the road. Let's go with Pitt.
Alrighty. I can't look myself in the camera over here and actually vouch for Pitt, but Sam did a good job.
But you vouch for Duke?
Yeah. We'll see. Last pick of the day, but don't go anywhere because we're going to have some arbitrary picks. Arizona at USC, -7 for USC. 139.5 on the total. We have 72-65 for USC as the prediction. 0.1 points underneath the 7 threshold. Giving us a play on the dog. Arizona, what do you think? Did the line change?
Well, we might have flipped here.
What is it now?
I'm getting 6. What time is the game?
It's got to be sometime late.
Let me check FanDuel.
It's at least 3 p.m. for sure because of the West Coast.
It's at 6, okay.
6 o'clock?
So let's go here in FanDuel. It is, wow, USC -5.5 I have on FanDuel.
Okay.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know. But that means a lot of the lines we probably talked about before have shifted, so be mindful. Always look at the score prediction and then check with us. Or make sure it's between 0
I'm scrolling
and
through
1
now.
points.
It looks like most of our picks are about the same.
About the same?
That's the only one that's really shifted like significantly.
Okay. I mean, we have 1.4 points of edge there then on USC.
That's a play,
will
right?
also continue to be a play, so we're fine there, but we have a little flipperoo, which at 5.5 I personally like. I wouldn't take
it. Kind of makes that makes me feel a little better. I was a little nervous about that Arizona pick. Not saying Arizona's a bad team by any means, but I think USC is just a they are a wagon out there in the Pac-12.
They're really good. I mean, their
I mean, I
offense is
know
there. Defense is solid.
your initial bracket sim had them going pretty far, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Let me
like
check
the
it.
USC team a lot. They've won 7 games in a row. They can score with anybody, but what they can do, they can also lock you down too. They average 76 points a game while giving up only 63. They shoot 47% from the field. That's a very good number. They rebound well. They they play good team offense. It's they're a very good team. I think here at home 5.5 points is not an easy play, but I'm very comfortable taking that.
Cool. All right, let's ride with it. Yeah, sorry about that little thing. The stream's gonna get messed up for a second. I accidentally pulled a window over Sam's face, and it's gonna pop right in the right in the camera. But
How dare you?
I think it wasn't just over your face. It was over everything. But it's okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
just to
now
confirm, we had USC beating Western Kentucky in the bracket sim, and then losing to the number 4 seeded Texas Tech 67-65. Speaking of, I have to run a new update on the model or on the March Madness bracket because Joe Lunardi came out with a new update yesterday.
Ooh, very nice.
I don't know what he likes to do. He just shuffles teams around. Like it'll be LSU will be an 8 seed in like the region 1 or whatever. And then they'll stay an 8 seed and they'll just get bumped to like region 3. I'm like, what reasoning do you have for
I
that?
think it because I think like it's not just like it's a random 3 put them anywhere. I think it's based on like your total rank too. Like bracket 1 will have say the number 1 team in the country,
That's true.
but the number 2 will be the 8th team in the country for say.
That's a good point.
It's something like that. I'm not sure
Yeah, you're
exactly
right.
how it works, but it's dependent more on that than geography. I don't think geography matters at all.
It definitely doesn't matter this year. The entire
Cause,
tournament,
yeah, because Tech was in the West like 2 years ago,
and everything's
so
being played in Indiana.
that's right.
Yeah.
What's that going to do with like the scheduling? Because are we going to be able to play? What is it, 16 games a day for the first 2
I don't
days?
think it's all in one arena. I just think that they're all keeping it within the state of Indiana. So like,
Okay, all right.
there's
So
no
you have
cross
some,
state travel.
so there's some at the college Indiana, probably some at the Pacers Arena. They'll find spots, and the Final Four has to be at the Colt Stadium,
It is.
probably,
Yeah.
right?
It's at
All
Lucas
right,
Oil.
perfect. That's the name.
Cool.
There's a few other very intriguing games in his slate that I would like to go through.
Yeah, we got probably maybe like 10 minutes left, so we can give people time to get off the stream, go place the bets, have some fun, sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, set up all the TVs, get all your games going. I know that's what I'm
I'll
gonna
be
do.
doing that as soon as I log off here. I got to walk about 15 feet to the living room.
I got
Get
Jay
the streams
Billis
going.
on my TV right now with Virginia Duke breakdown. It's muted, so I don't know what they're saying, but I'm hoping it's Duke. I know Dick Vitale's on Duke.
Oh wow,
He's always on Duke. Guy
Yeah.
loves Duke.
there's Duke and Pepto Bismol.
Oh my God. All right, let's touch on Auburn LSU because I know we talked about this before. There's a
Holy
eye-popping
points!
total. Yeah, four.
Yeah, I said before there's an over that I love, and it's an over 162 in this game. So the model literally has it, I think, like a half a point under, so pretty much on the total. If you've watched these teams this year, you know they don't like to play defense, and they
No.
can score. Like the two of them combined average 160 points a game. 82 from LSU, 78 from Auburn, and this game screams maybe some overtime too. That would really push it over. But yeah, this game I think is going to fly over. I'm seeing the Georgia Bama exhibition here.
It scares me because it's a high
don't-
total, but I
also
agree
don't.
with you.
I really like LSU with the points too, at -4 at home.
Yeah,
I mean, the announcers on ESPN will tell you that Auburn's the best team to ever play. If you watch them on ESPN and ESPN2, whatever they're on normally. They love Sharif Cooper. I mean, he's a great ball player. Don't get me wrong, but the way these guys talk these guys up, it's like they're like, the undefeated Kentucky team a few years ago. They're like the UNLV teams from back in the day. Like they're the best teams ever. Just pisses me off. I'm sorry.
it's all good. Let's see.
How about
what do we got?
UConn Villanova?
Dude, I love Villanova. I'm sorry.
I love Nova in this game.
I think that spread is very low. I don't know why. We got 138 on the total here. Villanova -6.
I think it's a fair spread.
We have a
Because
71-61 Villanova cover. So
yeah, I think they're gonna. UConn, they're having a good season. They have some good wins as of late, but last time we saw Nova, they kind of got beat up on the road at Creighton, off the sour taste in their mouth. So I see them coming out firing in this game and really beating up on UConn.
totally agree. Okay, I'm checking the TikTok chat right here. Doesn't look like we have any questions.
Yeah, what are the games we want to hear?
Let's see. We got any YouTube comments? What games do you want to hear?
Oh, did we do West Virginia, Texas yet?
No, we didn't. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
West Virginia, Texas. Texas 3.5-point favorites, 146.5 on the total. Looking at 72-71. Texas win, giving us a West Virginia cover with 2.5 points of edge. I like this. I mean, the
I love
model
it.
in this range doesn't perform well, but I mean, it still does log wins, and I feel like there are some rare occurrences where you can just point those out, where your gut feeling kind of overrides the model a little bit. Um, it's picking West Virginia. It's just not profitable. And Texas scares me a bit. West Virginia, I feel like more a little bit of a complete team. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think West Virginia's defense is the difference here, even though, I mean, Texas is a very good squad coached by Shaka Smart.
Yeah, so Texas has like the better defensive stats. I mean, if you go look at just like points per game and all that, but what West Virginia can really do when they step up the press and they can start causing turnovers, that's where they're really dangerous. And they've been doing that. And they've been doing that better as of late. You saw Texas just get over their little slide there where they lost what was it 3 or 4 in a row to some good competition as well. So, and West Virginia, what they've done in their past 2 weeks is nothing but they beat Kansas and beat Texas Tech, and then they had a heartbreaking loss in double OT against a very good Oklahoma team. Uh, West Virginia, I think, is a better team right now. Texas, yes, they're at home and they're a very talented team, but I'm going with the better team right now, and that's West Virginia. I
Totally,
I like them +3, and I maybe will sprinkle on the money line as well.
for sure. Another game that I like Syracuse -2.5 against Notre Dame. The model also the same way. 3.18 points of edge there on Syracuse. We're looking at a 74-69 game. You agree?
Yeah, I like that. Notre Dame has been not impressive this year. Syracuse, they've been streaky, but when they're on, they should definitely handle Notre Dame.
Definitely. We have Indiana at Michigan State. Indiana -6, 135 on the total.
Yuck.
73-64 Indiana win. Getting 2.74 points of edge there on the home favorite. Indiana is definitely the better team playing well right now. Michigan State also not I wouldn't say surging, but picking up the pace a little bit behind Tom Izzo. I mean, they have guys that have the experience. It's just not really any depth or any bench guys you can turn to. You really only can count on 2, maybe 3 of your starters. So, I don't know. I like Syracuse at home here. Sorry, Indiana at home here. I feel like they're just more explosive.
Yeah, I totally agree. Michigan State just all year has been underwhelming. So, and there's one other game I'd like to touch on. Let me. What does the model say about Illinois at Minnesota?
It says a tie game, pretty much.
Yes.
0.47 points of difference there. We're getting near 5 points of edge on Minnesota. 74-74. So, dude, Illinois, Ayo Dosunmu is good. Kofi Coburn is good. He's just not Kofi Coburn does not get involved as much as they should get him involved.
Marcus Carr is good.
But they just talk about Ayo time, Ayo time, Ayo time, and yeah, Ayo time. But play as a team, and you're gonna have a lot more success as Illinois, I would say. And they just don't do it. They're ranked 5, but they just have so much more potential. It's like a
I know
weird ranked number 5.
When this team is on, no one's really going to beat them. But they've had a few of these letdowns this season. Let's go back and look. They struggled at Nebraska just a couple weeks ago, or last week. They won in overtime, but that shouldn't be happening. But then look at the week before that, where they beat Wisconsin at home by 15. That's this team. I think they can kind of slide on the road a little bit. So yeah, they got wins against Iowa. They got wins against these guys, that guys, and then they losses to Missouri. Not a bad team by any means. Rutgers, they can lose games. They're a beatable team, and I do like this Minnesota team a lot. Actually, I think they have a lot of talent. They
Yeah, they
have
do.
they have the only win against Michigan this year, so I'll take them plus 4.5, plus 5, whatever we're getting. And again, maybe a little
Yeah.
sprinkle on the money line as well.
No, I think that's pretty good. What else do we have here? I feel like the only one really worth touching on is Kentucky at Tennessee, -7. It's just we should touch on it, but we should do nothing more than that because
Ugh.
Kentucky is just a perennial powerhouse that is sucking this year, just not good. They got to win their last time out, I believe. Tennessee, though, I'm like mentally scarred. Like when I think of Tennessee, I think of 49 points in my head because that's what they did. I feel like if you score 49 points in a college basketball game and your name is not Virginia with the defense that you have, you should not be ranked in the top 10 anymore.
Yeah, Kentucky's won 2 in a row now, but they were close wins against Auburn and at Vanderbilt. These two teams played just 2 weeks ago, where Kentucky led for most of that game and then just fell apart and lost by 11 at home against Tennessee. Um, yeah, I don't love either play here. I'm kind of leaning towards Kentucky. That's a lot of points, and they have been playing generally pretty close games. Even on the road, like at Mizzou, they lost by 5.
Yeah.
Um, at they got smacked around at the end. It's they hang around for most of these games and then just fall apart.
It's the truth.
So it's a big spread here, and I kind of leaning towards Kentucky covering that.
The model like overvalues Tennessee. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
good and they have the talent, but like saying they're going to win this game by 12 is like a lot. It's possible they can win this game by 25. I just there's no way that I would trust that to happen.
But also, I would not be surprised in the slightest if Kentucky just wins.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't know.
Like that's the thing with Kentucky with like this Kentucky team, the same with the Duke team. They have like all these insane recruits because they're Duke and Kentucky. They're going to have these big draft classes, and it was a big thing this year with like the really preseason for these guys. That's why we're seeing the struggles with the young teams more than these more experienced teams. But you think like every now and again, it's gonna click. They're gonna get going. And as I'm saying this, I'm talking myself into Duke tonight too, as I'm talking right now, and I don't like that I am.
Just saying.
You know what?
Just saying.
I have flipped to Duke.
Right
yeah,
at the final hour.
right at the buzzer, and I hate myself for doing it. But I can't even bet in this game anyway because I'm in the state of Virginia, so probably a good thing.
All right. So I need to sign off so I can get my bets in. I feel like we've given you guys a lot of information. Sam, do you have any final picks? I'm going to throw in 2 of mine. Seton Hall -4.5 at Georgetown. Georgia Tech -3.5 at Miami, Florida. I think both of those picks are good. Georgetown, high explosive team, can score the basketball. However, Seton Hall has just been pretty good. They have kept the pace of the game and kept control of that pace their last couple times out here. I think they had a COVID layoff, but they're back in their stride. -4.5 at Seton Hall at Georgetown, and then Georgia Tech is much better than Miami, and I'm willing to just go out there and say they're going to cover a 3.5 point spread. Don't have much more than that. Sam, you got anything else?
I like Mizzou -3.5 at South Carolina.
Okay.
I think it's a small spread. South Carolina, they're not a bad team. They're better than the record indicates, but Mizzou is a much better team, I think, and it's a pretty small spread, so I like them. And we're totally switching up the vibe here, but if you're going to be up tonight between the hours of 3 and 6 a.m., how about maybe throw a unit on the boy Daniel Medvedev in the Australia Open final for the men's here in the final against Novak Djokovic, the number 1 ranked player in the world. Medvedev at probably about even money right now. He's been dominating this tournament. Let's go with the Russian.
Alrighty. I know nothing about tennis, but go with Sam. I don't know where you got
that
info from. I don't know what happened, but we'll take it. We like betting picks on this show.
I did promise a tennis pick at the end because I was asked about it, but I actually follow tennis a decent bit, so.
It's
I got
fun
some
to
tennis
watch.
picks.
I just
Oh, it's so much fun to watch.
I just don't know when it's on, and I never really cared to figure it out.
Yeah, like in the Australian Open too. Like they start at 3:30 a.m. Eastern time, so um, it's why like it's better
My
when you're watching
marathon
Wimbledon or
sport to
stuff.
watch is golf.
I love golf.
It's so good. Alrighty, Saturday, February 20th. This has been the Cap Rack, bringing you guys college basketball model picks. We're going to probably keep this a thing. I feel like this is good. I like these little Saturday analysis hours leading up to the final tip-off. Sam, any final thoughts before I completely sign us off?
Just best of luck, everyone, with the picks today. Should be a great day. Besides that, got nothing. No more picks from me.
Cool. I hope this has been helpful.
Well,
for
actually,
all you
I'll
guys.
probably if you want to follow me on Twitter or follow the Caps on Twitter account, I will probably have a blog post for a loaded NHL slate today that actually starts in half an hour, but I do not have a pick on that game. So
Well, I'll have some UFC picks out for tonight. I think the card
Hell
starts
yeah.
around 5, 6, 7 o'clock. I don't know, for the early prelims. But regardless, for Tyler Blumenstick and my co-host, Sam Meehan, this has been Saturday, February 20th, Caprack live stream. We will see you sometime next week, Monday or Tuesday, for some more college basketball. See ya.